He calls me and he says, "Hey, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We need to lower your propranolol." I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm just meditating." He goes, "Okay." And I said, "Why?" He goes, and this is the funny part, and this is honest to God truth. Like I said, this is all in my records. On the phone, he says, "Well, I'm going to be honest with you." He goes, "I was actually gambling against you." He said, "I was throwing in a towel because I was banking on you to die." No, great bedside manners. Wonderful. Okay, that's great. Well, I'm a Taurus. I'm stubborn by nature. I'll check out when I decide to check out's going. How about that? So I continued every day, no matter what happened, every day. I would meditate every day, eat right, exercise, do the same thing every day, stay balanced, stay self-centered and centered on myself, and handle self-responsibility and keep calm on everything, calm and centered. That was the best way to describe it. A week and a half later, he calls me again. He says we're going to lower the propranolol and the methimazole. So, okay, so now I'm taking 20 milligrams of methimazole and about 30 of propranolol. Wow, we just went from 9 to 30. That's good. We're doing good. This process kept going. In a month, about a month and a week, he took me completely off the propranolol. I'm not taking any blood pressure pills, and I was down to 7.5 milligrams of methimazole. Far cry from the 60. Each day I'm feeling better. Not only that, but the insight, but I'm feeling better. I've gained weight. My hands don't shake. I mean, I can hold a cup of freaking coffee without leaving the trail of breadcrumbs where everybody goes, "Yep, Mark was here." It's something that you can't put into words. You cannot put into words. And like I said, I've never been out there to convince people like a Bible. I don't care what the belief structure is or your beliefs. I'm telling you my experience. So I am still alive, kicking, and in damn good health, gained weight, and the insights I have, because once you actually can get yourself grounded, you can handle self-responsibility. You can handle, anything that comes your way, because it makes you more than aware, makes you alert, makes you awake and understanding. And that's, I think, is the key point. Because if you think about this, everything is your responsibility. Cycles that happen in the universe, everything that happens around, it is your responsibility. You can't look up and say, "Okay, is somebody going to do something here? This rock's going to fall." No, they're not. It's you. And that's why I think things like this is important for me to throw out. Because like I said, I was close to death and my own doctor was banking against me. And you weren't going to get any help from your job. I mean, working 15 days straight, and I'm having chest pains and he wants me to stay there. It's you have to understand what your priorities are. Okay? First off, money has no value. If you think it does, you really need to go Google the executive orders and look for 1971 under Richard Nixon when he took the backing of the gold away from the dollar. The only thing should matter of life is life. I got a second chance only because I did the right path. Okay? I'm not it's not to me as religion, because you're looking at the difference. Religion will always tell you something is going to save you or put you down. You're a sinner. It's going to try to control you. No, I'm telling you the exact opposite. I'm telling you, you need to meditate. You need to get centered. You need to handle your own responsibility. If a boulder is falling from the sky, move. It's not a matter of stressing or worried or scared. It's a matter of doing what is right. Move. Unless you, of course, you choose to get squashed. But then again, that was a needless choice, but it was your choice nonetheless. Everything I'm telling you, I have records to back it up. We're talking about the blood pressure, healthy blood pressure, everything going on in the right direction. I'm gaining weight. I look good. I mean, I hear it. It's something that's different when other people can see it. Okay? And that's actually what the difference is. I don't care if you take away the Harakarana. I don't care if you take away the text. I don't care if you take away the Mahabharata or any other religious aspect text. It's a matter of guidelines. Okay? They were there to get you to understand basics, and it was man that changed that. Okay? Man's the one who changed it, who made it a religion, when actually it's self-responsibility. They all point to the same things. But the bottom line is, you have to find things out for yourself. This is your development, your path. But if you take anything from what I'm telling you, understand that in the ultimate cosmic universe of it all, if you're sick, you can heal yourself. But first you got to want it. And it can go the other way too. If you want to be negative, you can. Okay? And I got a quick story to share for that while we still have time. They always say mind over matter. Mind over matter. Well, I'll tell you a story who's somebody, for some reason, this person I worked with, she believed when she hit this certain age, she was going to die. And people are like, oh, come on. You know, just because your sisters did or your cousins did does not necessarily mean you are a different person. You doesn't mean you're going to go at that age. 3 years exactly to the day she said that. It was her birthday. She was in the hospital diagnosed with diabetes, which she never knew she had. At midnight, which was actually her birthday, midnight, the day it turned her birthday, she passed away. It means it's not engraved in stone, your future, your destiny, or even an apocalypse, or even a revelation. It's a matter of what you do. Okay? The future is never etched in stone. It can be changed, but if you believe positive will happen. But you got to believe it. This isn't something magical. This is something that's fact. Like I said, everything I told you, I've got records to it. And I'm pretty sure you can go find other people that have been on the negative side, and it all went downhill. I'm still going. Still alive, still healthy. And like I said, the best thing is I don't shake anymore. And to you, it may not be that big of a deal. But to me, I like to hold a cup of coffee in the morning without spilling half the contents. So if I can actually do anything, I can actually say if you get balanced, you can understand exactly what it is. Because you can change the world yourself. You have to start with yourself. Okay? You can take a song, Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror. I think that's the perfect one. Because you can go over there and you can get violent and get angry, which the cabal, or like I said, reptilians, they live off of anger and fear. And if you want to just keep putting into it, rioting violently, all you're doing is causing more hate and discontent, which is what they're feeding off of. But if you really would like to change the world and make a better place, the most important lesson I can tell you is, how about starting with yourself? Start with the man in the mirror and actually apply the change in life. Because the snowball effect does work. If you change your patterns and people go, hey, this person's a role model, and you do the same thing, don't be like me. Better yourself. Be yourself a better self. It's snowball effect. It does work. But it's up to each individual to make their own minds up. And that's basically what it is, what it comes down to. I am still alive and well, and I'm still working good, and I'm still feeling good. So it works. But it's not a miracle thing. It's got to be a discipline thing. Because you can't just sit there and meditate and say, hey, nothing's happened. Because it's like anything else in life, it takes discipline. Discipline's taught in the military, but discipline is needed for everything. You got to have discipline. A true martial arts place that sensei will always tell you, mind, body, and soul have to be one. Everything's got to work in harmony. And it works. So the only thing I could say is trust yourself, better yourself. And that is where this actual message is, because this was my turning point. I was close to death, and like I said, when you're released from a hospital, and the doctor, who to me realistically is just a glorified mechanic, I mean, you're living in an organic machine. You're a soul with a body. That's what you are, but the body is an organic machine. You don't have to think to breathe, do you? You don't have to go heart pump. It does it automatically. It's involuntary muscles. It does it automatically. It's like an auto pump. It goes. So it's an organic machine, so they're glorified mechanics. But they're still supposed to be professionals and know what's going on. And when you have chest pains and you go into a place where the doctor says, your heart and lungs are perfect. Okay, then what caused it? I don't know. Get dressed. And you don't get any answers. That's the world we're living in. We're living in a world where it's a fantasy. David Icke likes to say a matrix, but I think it's worse than the matrix. It's not only a matrix of illusion, but it's a matrix made up of an Alice in Wonderland fantasy, because it's like you got the Mad Hatter as your frickin' doctor. But this thing actually changed my life, because I was aware but not awake. And it's something that it's more important, because when you look at any subject now, I mean any subject, you can have an insight. I mean, I've heard many masters. Remember this, the spiritual leaders of the world for the last 13,000 years were the Buddhist monks. Buddhist is not a religion. It's actually a way of life. It's different, but it's balanced. But the spiritual leaders of the world were the Buddhist monks, not the Mormons, not the Christians, not the Scientologists, and not the Protestants, not any other. Because monks were insightful. But realistically, when you become balanced and whole, and you just apply things to your life, and you live life for life. If you want a job, then you do something that makes you happy. But you got to want a job, because I do. I work at home too. I don't work full time. Consider myself like semi-retired. I like to do what I do because I love the boats. I love the boats. But I write online, and that's where I do very well. The reality is, when you look at something as balanced, you can get a better insight. So when the news media comes on, and I don't watch TV, I turned that off years ago, but once in a while, family members are watching the weather because all they care about is if it's going to rain tomorrow. But you'll hear news people, and you're so enlightened, you're just like, okay, you already know something, and you know, they're wrong, and you already know the answer. But not only that, but you pick up things quick.